Warning, the Stone Age Gamer includes a lot of bad language. Cover your mother***ing ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer Podcast. I am Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is what every kid wants under their Christmas tree, Dan Ryan.
In a box. Hot.
In a box and nothing else.
That's right.
This week, Dan and I are getting ourselves into the holiday shopping spirit by putting together a list of cool things you should totally buy for yourself and your loved ones. Clear some space for insane Lego displays because the Stone Age Gamer Podcast starts now. Hi everyone,
Yeah,
this is episode
I got
400.
one of those on my list.
Oh yeah, me too. This is episode 437. It's the week of November 18th, 2022, and today has been a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah. I mean, Gallagher passing away. So, like, I think we've talked about it on the show before, of, like, Gallagher being the first comedian that, like, I think you and I really understood and, like, oh, I get, like, oh, stand-up comedy, that's, like, a thing, and I get it, because he was safe, right?
He
like,
was.
Gallagher, he was, not now, like, not when he became later, but, like, when we were kids.
Yeah, when
like,
we were kids, there's, guy smashed watermelon with hammer. That's kind of funny.
Smashing watermelons, and, like, the spelling thing is fucking hysterical. Like, have you seen the spelling bit where he's like...
No, I only remember him being the guy that smashed watermelons, and then I found out about him dying earlier today from Frank Conniff's, TV's Frank from Mr. Science Theater. He tweeted something, and then his audience informed him of what Gallagher has been for a number of years, which is a horrible racist piece of shit.
Yeah, he really has.
Which, wow, I didn't see that coming. I didn't know. I thought he was just some weirdo that loves smashing fruit with a hammer. And then I read some transcripts from some of his more recent comedy bits. It was like, what the fuck happened to this guy?
Well,
wow.
It's so hard too. It's an interesting discussion to have, certainly not on this podcast in depth or anything, but, as we come through this election cycle that is just completed, right? And you see
It's still completing, but yes.
Well, completed enough.
It's harrowing.
You see the way old people vote versus how young people vote, and what happens to you as you get older and more scared, and there's just a lot psychologically that goes into it. Now, some people, unfortunately, like Mr. Gallagher, which I believe was his only name, like Madonna, nowhere near as sexy. Madonna, I'm talking about. Gallagher, fucking hot. That fucking mustache, man, it did it for me. Like, he went so far beyond the pale, right? Like, he went completely off the deep end. But, man, like, as a kid, I just remember watching his specials and the spelling bit that he does where he's like, like you're teaching kids to spell. It's C-O-M-B. Comb. Okay. C-O-M-B, comb. T-O-M-B, tome? No. Tomb. T-O-M-B, tomb. D-O-M-B, doom? Or D-U-M-B, doom? No, dumb. Like, it's just this whole, like, thing that he goes through, and it was fucking hysterical, and, like, I loved it. And it's weird to separate the art from the artist, right? Uh-huh. It's hard, anyway. Weird is probably the wrong word.
Yeah, it can be hard to separate art from the artist. That is very true.
But then,
which is why I'm glad I never liked the Santa Claus movies.
Yeah, I mean, like, and there's a new one coming out, and
it's a whole series, and
like, fuck, man.
Tim Allen kind of sucks. I used to like, what was it, Home Improvement when I was a kid.
Who didn't like Home Improvement?
Right?
If you are our age, nobody didn't like watching that dude grunt at people and fucking talk to Wilson over the fence. Like, that shit was funny. But, apparently he's a shitbag, too. Like, it just sucks. Kevin Sorbo's an asshole.
Oh my God. He's really stupid too. Like
he really
is. I guess that shouldn't be that much of a surprise. But
no, it really shouldn't be.
My God.
Yeah.
Just to see sometimes shit he posts on Twitter pops up in my feed. I'm like, did you even think this through to conclusion before hitting send? Like,
no.
What do you even talk? How do you argue with that? And I guess the answer is you don't.
But then on the complete other side, Kevin Conroy fucking died.
Yeah.
And that, like, I don't give a shit, like, what anyone else says about it. Like, Batman died. Not Michael. Like, Michael Keaton is not Batman. Fucking Val Kilmer certainly isn't Batman. George Clooney, I don't even know what the fuck that was. I know for a lot of people, like, Adam West was Batman, but, man, like, Batman fucking died. That is awful.
And it came out of nowhere. It was...
I didn't know he was sick. I don't know if it was publicized or not.
He was sick. That's the friend of mine, Adrian, who was kind of up on pretty much everything news related. He said that pretty much nobody outside of his immediate circle knew that he was sick. It was cancer, and then it hit him quick, and that was the end of that.
Damn.
And also, I didn't know that he was gay. And
oh no?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I feel like more people should know that Batman was gay.
I agree that more people should know that Batman was gay, because that should really prove how much that shit doesn't fucking matter. Like, you put your dick wherever you would like to, as long as the other party is consenting to it.
Exactly.
It literally does not matter where you put it to anyone else's life. It just doesn't. Yeah, fucking wild, man.
Yeah.
Wild day. And I know you got to see Black Panther today. I didn't get to see Black Panther, but the thing I think that maybe brought me the most joy is the pharmaceutical company that sells insulin.
Oh my God.
Eli Joy or whatever.
The Twitter
lost
situation.
$20 billion of their market value today because some fucking... That is the best... Fuck Elon Musk. Across the board. That guy's
loud and proud.
Yeah. Oh my God. What a fucking douchebag. But...
That's like, I think I saw somebody say that's the most important $8 anybody's ever spent.
It's the best $8 anyone has ever spent. And thank you, Elon Musk, for being such a fucking idiot that you have allowed this to be a thing. That's awesome.
Yeah, seeing Twitter melt down in real time has been real interesting as somebody who, my job revolves around dealing with Twitter a lot.
Yeah.
So in this last week where Facebook was the more stable place than Twitter, because it hasn't been like that in a long time. Like posting things for Stone Age Gamer on Facebook is one thing, and there's like, how is this post going to react? Who knows? And Twitter has usually been a relative constant, and this last week has just been just a completely different animal working with Twitter. It's been bonkers.
Yeah.
So there's those deaths, of course, and of course what you just said about that company losing a bunch of money. That was just absolutely magical. This morning, I got to buy Atari 50.
Oh, that's so great.
I have thoughts and things to say about it. I've played about 5 minutes of it.
Oh,
that's all I've had time, because I went to go see Wakanda Forever. So on one hand, I was like, I really, really just want to sit and play this Atari game, but also a very strange and rare opportunity has just materialized for the two of us to go see this movie. Like, my mom took the kids. I had my work done for the day. Okay, if we go right now, we can catch this show and we can be back in time.
Right this very second.
And that's what we did. We made it work, and it was my spoiler-free review is I didn't love the first one. I think I liked this one a little better. It was a very entertaining movie. It was too long. There was at least one too many things in it, and I think that one too many things was Ironheart. And it's nothing against the actress who's playing Riri Williams is fucking phenomenal, and I am very jazzed to watch her show because that's very well cast, and I liked that character a lot. But there was a lot of movie. Like this is just shy of 3 hours long.
Oof,
it's a lot of movie, and I didn't need that. But I liked way more about it than I didn't, yeah, it was good stuff. So I got to see that, but I also, oh man, Atari 50. So I picked it up, and I was working on making pizza dough, and I started the update. There was a big update for it or whatever. So once that was done, I really had like about 5 minutes to sit down and mess with this thing before Karen came home from dropping the kids off at my mom's, and then we had to go straight to the theater to catch Black Panther. So I start with the timeline, and this is, again, minutes. I spent merest of minutes with this. This is, without a doubt, the gold standard of how you do retro collections, and I will be upset at every retro collection past this that isn't this. It's this. Stephen was explaining this to us on the show, and I swear I didn't quite understand it until I was really playing it. It's this interactive timeline, and the first thing on it is talking about computer space, and then there's a video that's a guy who used to work at Atari telling a story of how he found the original computer space arcade cabinets at like some farm that some dude was selling them, and he looked into it and turned out that he had gotten his hands on Ted Dabney's original units. And it's just this, little 2-minute video of this guy telling the story that was just freaking fascinating. And then underneath it is Ted Dabney's syzygy business card in high resolution that you can just zoom in and look at. And every single one of these things that you do checks off like, okay, this spot on the timeline you got credit for because you watched this video, you zoomed in on this picture, you looked at this thing, and that's how the timeline works. And so you go through and you either watch a video or click on an image or play a game, and that's how you beat, quote unquote, that stage. And you work your way through the timeline. And it was, as soon as you start it up, it says right at the top, you press this button to just look at the list of games and play whatever games you want. You can do that 100%, or do the timelines. And I am going to sit and do every fucking ounce of these timelines. I was moved to tears by this timeline. That's how much of a dork I am. But there were tears in my eye, not like bawling, but I welled up. I absolutely welled up at the sight of this timeline and how it was put together. As soon as it clicked in my head, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because it's providing legit historical context to every one of these games, even the ones that aren't good. Like, this is why, because, a lot of that stuff, the term aged well is such a weird thing to say, but you know what we mean when we say aged well. I'm not saying this game has gotten older. It is the same game it always has been. I just mean that our sensibilities have evolved, and thus playing something this simple in a lot of cases, it just doesn't work as well as it did back then.
Well, you simply look at the fact that in the same week, Atari 50 released, where you can play the original adventure game Adventure, but also God of War Ragnarok released, which is essentially Adventure.
I guess I can see that.
You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it's the same game. The story is different, but the idea, the basic... stripping away everything else, the core idea of what an adventure game is adventure. You had to provide a lot of the extra shit yourself because the visuals and the technology simply didn't allow for all of that, but they're the same thing. So you're right in that it's important to go back and understand the history of it. It's also hard because if you look at Adventure next to God of War, you're like, you know.
But if you're interested in learning about that kind of stuff, this is such a great way to do it. And the ability to provide historical context for all of the games, for all the parts of it, I think is just such an important innovation as far as how to do video game preservation like this, how to do these kinds of collections. Because how many times do you get a collection of games that's, well, I bought this because it has this, and this on it, but it has a handful of other games, and I've never played them, and I'm probably not gonna, because I don't know anything about them. Like, maybe I'll discover one there. That's not why I bought it. And this is explaining why you should play them. And it's the kind of thing that I've always been hoping that, like, Nintendo Switch Online would be, or what the Virtual Console would be. I've been dreaming about that for ages, of being like, okay, you said this is when this game released and what its title is, but why don't you tell me why I should play it? Because they've got a lot of interesting stuff on, like, NSO. That's like Eliminator Boat Duel. Okay, why the hell should anyone play that? Well, because it's pretty neat. Explain
why
to me
am I clicking on
neat.
that versus the plethora of titles that I know or have at least heard the names of?
Exactly. And it's this I cannot wait to spend more time with it. I'm so over the moon for this game. It's nuts.
Yeah, I really want to get it. I really want to get it because, as we've discussed, like, my appreciation for Atari is somewhat secondhand, right? I didn't have one. I had a Coleco. You know, I played Atari over my buddy Nick's house, and then eventually we got the NHL 94 and, like, never looked at the Atari again. You know what I mean? Like, that was just kind of Dad's toy, this relic in the basement, like, and I played Pitfall and whatever, but, like, you know, I don't have the same level of nostalgic appreciation that you have. I've certainly played my fair share of it. We've done our starter kit, you know, and I've gone back and looked at things. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I like Ferg, so I hear him talk about stuff, and I'm like, you know, let me go check that out. But as far as being, like, the Atari kid, it just wasn't my thing. I had a Coleco. So I really want to jump into this, and I'm excited about all of that particular stuff in it. But not until I finish Ragnarok.
Yeah,
because holy shit, Chris.
This is another part of what's bothering me about having Atari 50 right now, is that so I'm being assigned this one for review, but not until the next issue, because we don't have enough room in this one. So Lucas was just like, so we're going to put this off till next issue so we can give it a whole lot of space. Right. I was like, that's great. I really want to play it right now, but I'm also been assigned Haiku the Robot for review. And so I started playing it. I don't remember what I said about it, or if I even mentioned it when I said I was starting to play it before.
I don't think so, because we did the interview last week.
Right.
So I got go over it.
I got to review Haiku the Robot, which is a game I had never heard of before. And I was like, okay, it's a pixel art Metroidvania. I'm really not in the mood for this right now.
Right.
So I kind of really went into this with a bit of a bad attitude. I was like, no, you have to play this, and you have to review it as objectively as you can. Do your goddamn job. And I very reluctantly kind of made myself play it, because I was like, I want to finish Pilot Wing 64, and this is not where my head's at, but, you know, the job's a job. So
sure.
I'm starting to play it, and I was just like, I really hope this game doesn't get really good, because I want other things.
I want this to suck real bad.
I just want it to be what my first impression of it is. And damn if this game didn't start getting really goddamn good. And when I say that this is a game that was made after Hollow Knight. Somebody played Hollow Knight and made this. It it exudes so much of the best of Hollow Knight, but from a very different setting. Like, this isn't dark bugs underground. It's sort of monotonish, much more pixel art take on like robots and stuff, but it has that Hollow Knight vibe so very much. The controls are super tight, just like Hollow Knight. The combat is incredibly similar to Hollow Knight. Like, your sword is just like your needle in Hollow Knight. Like, the way you swing it, the way you can jump, swing down, and bounce off of things. The way you interact with all these weird little characters that are also kind of exploring this world you're in. Like, you just run into them and they jabber at you real quick or say something. It's got some really weird dark tones underneath the whole thing. Like, this whole world is like very dire but kind of beautiful, but like there's something awful going on here. It's very dangerous, and it exudes so much of what I liked about Hollow Knight, and it's kind of pissing me off because I'm like, I just want to play Atari 50 and Pilot Wings, but I can't put this down. Like, I seriously went to go to bed last night, and I was like, I gotta find a fucking save point. I need to find a save point. And I have the worst luck with save points in this game because, like, there'll be 2 ways to go on a map. And I'll pick the left, and then I'll be exploring for like a fucking hour and not find a save point. There was a save point 1 screen to the right where I made that pork. This is just save point. Right. This has happened to me on 3 occasions where I've picked the other direction and then died and been like, well, fuck, now I don't know where I am.
God damn it.
Fortunately, when you die, you don't lose progress. When you die, you lose a bunch of your money stuff, your spare parts or whatever. So you can bank them anytime you want, but whenever you die, you lose those spare parts. But all of your progress, any items you got, any abilities, any bosses, any maps you've explored, that all stays done, but you just go back to wherever your last save point was, which unfortunately is sometimes very far away. But it handles the map situation so much better than Hollow Knight did. It does this one thing that pisses me off, because when I play these kinds of games, I am constantly checking my map, and the map is not the default screen when you press the select button. You have to press select and L.
Yeah, that's annoying.
That's annoying. I've gotten used to it, but it's like, I don't need to go to my inventory screen every time I pause this game. That stuff auto-equips. You don't need to switch between things. I don't know why this is the main screen. It should be the map, because I need to constantly be looking at the map. Because one thing I really do like about it is you move very quickly through the map. Like, you look at it and you're looking at it like, wow, this is going to take me like forever to get from point to point B, but you really do go through the map very quickly. So the traversing seems like it's going to take a long time, and it actually doesn't. I also got a morph ball, like just straight up got the morph ball from Metroid. Not even hiding it on its, like, you just roll into a ball. Okay, it's cool.
It's neat.
I also just got it. I also just got basically the teleport move from Axiom Verge.
Oh, nice!
Where you could just like zip forward a little bit. I just unlocked that, and I kept getting to these spots where there'd be a wall in my way. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get something that's either gonna break through that wall or I'm gonna find my way around. And then I just got the teleport. It's like, oh, so that's what we're doing. Okay, cool. It really is just taking the best of Axiom Verge and Hollow Knight and mixing it with this really interesting world. Like, you would really like this game. You really would. It's put it on your freaking radar, man. It's Haiku the Robot. My other real gripe with it, though, is it has almost a complete lack of music. And that was what was really bothering me about it most to begin with, because there's no music. It's just no sounds and stuff in the background. And that was making the game seem like it was going to be boring. That's where I was like, I'm already half writing the review in my head. Like, It wants to do a lot of things. It wants to be Hollow Knight, but it's got no music, and it's just not keeping my attention. And then, like, within an hour or two, the game itself got so good that I cared so much less about the lack of music, because playing it was so fun, exploring it was so fun, the combat was fun. the boss fights were challenging but not insane. That it's definitely a much easier game than Hollow Knight. I'll give it that. Not that it's easy, but I haven't gotten to a boss where I've just been like, holy shit, I don't even know where to begin on this.
Yeah.
And that happened to me a couple times in Hollow Knight where it's just hopelessly outclassed by a boss. And this one has just been like, all right, I know what to do. I just have to execute it. Okay, I can do this. And yeah, it turned around so quickly of just being like, no, this game it's taking the best of what these other games did, and it came up with something really fucking special. And then I looked at we were trying to figure out Nintendo Force was doing our list of like Game of the Year nominations. Yeah. And somebody posted a link of the most highly rated Switch games of the year, and Haiku the Robot was really high on the list. I was like, how have I never heard of this fucking game before?
Yeah.
And it just totally blew past me. And it's really goddamn good.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
isn't it like nice when that happens?
It really is. It is. It's just really cool. I've been feeling a little out of video gaming for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, sure. It goes in cycles.
Right, because I mean, I haven't had a generation where I've played this many great games in decades. Like, it's been forever since I've had this kind of fun with video games. And the Switch has just been such a great system for me. And Nintendo's first-party stuff this year hasn't been doing it for me. Like, I am not dying to play Bayonetta 3 as much as I thought I would. I skipped Splatoon 3. I have Mario Strikers because it was a gift, and I'm not saying I didn't enjoy my time with it, but I also wouldn't be so totally heartbreaking to not have that one. Like,
Kirby was good.
No,
it wasn't
Kirby
great.
Was fucking great. You are insane. How dare you?
I'm fucking with you.
That was it, though. Like, Kirby knocked my socks off, and then I've been playing Dadish and stuff, and like, so the big stuff hasn't really been getting me, and I was just kind of in a little bit of a gaming lull, and I have been so into Star Wars.
Yeah.
With Andor, I've just been diving whole hog into just my Star Wars fandom. It's just like, oh my god, and that's been great. So this is awesome. Having Atari 50 is awesome. We finished Luigi's Mansion. Me and John were playing that. Like our after school game. We just finished that the other day. The first Luigi's Mansion on GameCube, and that game holds up. It really does. It's
it's great.
I got frustrated a couple times towards the end of just like, man, this game needs fast travel. Like, seriously, I am so tired of walking around this mansion to just get from this one place that I need to be next. But all in all, that game holds up spectacularly well. Love that one. Shredder's Revenge showed up. Finally.
Oh, nice. The physical.
Got my physical Shredder's Revenge, my Pizza Hut coupon that I'm never going to use because I don't want to eat Pizza Hut.
No, because Pizza Hut is fucking gross.
I don't want it, but I want that coupon. Oh, we've only had one night with it where it's been my family night pick, and it went exactly as well as I hoped it would. Oh, goodness gracious. Ellie was having fun. She was even contributing. It was...
Yeah?
Oh my god. Like, she picked April, and like, obviously she was the weakest link on the team.
Sure.
But it wasn't like playing Castle Crashers.
But she's also 6. So
exactly. She's also 6. When we play Castle Crashers, like, she's just constantly dead, and then she just gets frustrated. She has fun for about 5 minutes, and then once you get to a certain point in that game, she just can't keep up. But we put it on the easiest difficulty, and she's just having a ball. And that's all I wanted out of this game. And it's fucking wonderful. God, this game was so good. I'm so happy to be playing it.
It's really great. It needs some DLC though. Like, it's time. Let's have some new shit. Give me Usagi.
Into that.
Where the fuck is Usagi Yojimbo?
Give me some more characters. I would like
a couple more stages.
Yeah.
Like,
keep them coming.
Just some,
Speaking of Ellie, I had mentioned a few weeks ago that I have been playing art style Pictobits a bunch lately, and I finally beat it. There's the number ones. I can't beat level 1 in dark mode. I can't. I've come really fucking close, but I can't even beat the first stage in dark mode. It's like, wow, this game is made.
That's wild.
There is some intrinsic chunk of this game that I don't get, because I get to a certain point and I'm just like, well, I keep making these matches, but I'm not getting the colors I need. and I need white to finish off this picture, and it keeps happening, and it's just, I'm not getting white blocks. So I'm doing something wrong. I don't know what it is, but whatever. What's been really cool is that Ellie wanted to try playing it. And unlike every other game she has ever played, she does not get frustrated by losing. She just wants to keep learning and trying. And she's now beaten the 3rd level of the game on her own, not me telling her what to do or pausing it or anything. She's watched me play. She got the basic gist of it, and then she's just hammering at it and figuring it out. So when we do story time at night, I'll read her stories, but beforehand, I'll let her play a level of Pictobits. And she finally got to the point where she beat level 3, and she wants to beat it a few more times. She wants to get good at beating level 3. She wants to be able to do it consistently before she moves on to level 4. I'm so impressed by this girl. I love that she's doing this. I don't know why she can't apply this to literally every other video game. We tried Dr. Mario. She got insanely flustered straight away. I'm like, I don't understand what's different about this and this. It's still falling block. If anything, Pictobits is way more intense than Dr. Mario, but she just gets completely flustered. I feel like it might be the touchscreen aspect of it. You know, because Dr. Mario, you're moving the pills themselves as they're falling, and in this one, in Pictobits, you have to draw things to intercept falling blocks. So maybe that's it. Either way,
it just clicks with her brain. It just this makes sense to her.
Her perseverance in that game is impressing the shit out of me.
That's awesome.
I just love it. I having so much fun with that with her. I mentioned before I'm still playing Pilot Wing 64. Obviously not as much because Haiku the Robot has to take precedence, but I played a little bit more of it this afternoon. I mentioned it just in passing before, but I really cannot stress... excuse me. I cannot stress how much I love this game. Because I had a full-blown obsession with the original Pilot Wings on Super Nintendo. And when Pilot Wings Resort came out on 3DS, I played through probably about half of it. It just came at a time where I wasn't playing that many games, or at least not enough to really plow through the entire game. But I was so joyous to finally have it. And Pilot Wings 64 just soared right by me when it came out on N64 because the games were so expensive and I couldn't go out and buy games. And they're, of course, Mario 64 took precedence. And then when it came time for me to get another game, it was like, well, do I pick Pilot Wings or do I pick something else more exciting? And I wound up going with like Killer Instinct or Mortal Kombat Trilogy or something. And on one hand, I'm kind of glad I skipped this because the save state functionality in this game is so fucking paramount. Because I played through the first handful of stages without even really thinking of creating save states for myself. And it got super frustrating being like, I made it all the way through, but I don't understand how this wants me to land. What does it want from me on the angle to get the right angle points and to get the right impact points? Like, I don't understand what the game wants from me. So being able to just create a save state after doing the part of the level that's like the hard part, like, all right, I got through all the rings. Now I'm going to create a save state and I'm going to practice landing until I understand what it wants me to do. And that just blew this whole game wide open. So like, I'll get through an entire chunk of like these last handful of levels in the game are super long. And also I'll just get through one major part of it. And like, all right, this is my continue point right here. And I'm going to practice this loop until I get it right. Once I get that right, once I figure out the math on that and I master that, I'm going to create a save state and then I'm going to move forward. And that's how I'm getting golds on everything. Is sure, it's cheating, but I'm putting so much time into it that all I'm doing is trying to save time.
Fuck you.
Sure, it's technically cheating, but like I would get there the other way. It would just take me a bajillion times longer, and I probably would eventually quit. And this is stopping me from doing that, and I'm seeing the entire game. It's a fantastic game, especially with save states. It's such a cool game. I really want a new Pilot Wings. And after I finish this, I am absolutely going to go in and finally finish Pilot Wings Resort, because that was one of those things that I'll be like, I'm just going to hit it every now and then. And I have been, but I've also kind of fallen off it because of other things, and I don't want to play my 3DS, but that game's never getting ported to anything, so
probably
there's my option. Yeah. A few more interesting things. John and I have discovered Minecraft Story Mode.
Okay.
We completely missed the boat on this. I didn't really have an understanding of what it was at first, because I was under the impression that it was a game for game consoles that you would buy and then play. But then I would look for it on the digital shops, and it doesn't exist. And so I'd be like, I don't know what this is. So I found it on Netflix, and, oh, it's a show. Oh, this is one of those interactive shows. So I tried to play it on my Apple TV, and this whole thing came like, you are running on an older Apple TV. You need to play this on a more modern system.
Yeah.
So I downloaded Netflix on my Xbox One, and we started playing it there, and it's really great. And then I looked up more information on it, and it was a game. It was a Telltale game. But since Telltale went under, the game disappeared. So it's not on any of the shops anymore to buy. And what I'm not sure on is what I've read is that even if you have the physical one, you can't play it because the servers are down. Which I think is completely fucking insane. Like, shouldn't the game just all be on a disc? But a copy of it for Switch goes for like $200 because the game's been discontinued. And that's not the kind of money I'm going to throw around to check. You know, I'm not going to test and see. Yeah. And the reason I would think about buying it there is because every time we play Story Mode on Netflix, every time we pick a new decision for what to do next in the game, a little marker comes up the corner saying you have until December 6th to play this. So, like, even the Netflix version is going to be removed, and then this game's fucking gone.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer, because it's pretty cool.
Because it's all right.
Yeah, Patton Oswalt plays the main character, and you make these decisions about what to do and who to do them with, like, throughout playing the game. It's like, you know, it's an interactive story, and John's just loving it, and I'm having a good time playing it with him. But I'm super bummed that it's going away, and that I completely missed the train on this. Like, John wasn't into Minecraft 2 years ago. John wasn't into Minecraft 1 year ago. And now he's obsessed with it. Like, 90% of what comes out of his mouth is just him talking about Minecraft mobs. It's just non sequitur. Like, we're sitting in the car on the way to school. Did you know that this fox has a 20% possibility of showing? I don't fucking care, but okay.
It doesn't matter, but all right. I'm happy you're happy.
Exactly. I'm happy you're happy. But I'm genuinely bummed I missed out on story mode. So we're going to try and finish it before, the month is over, or at least finish part of it. But there seems to be like a lot there. There's no way we're getting through all of it, and I'm super bummed. It's going away. It sucks. You still there?
Oh shit! I hit the mute button. I'm sorry.
There you are. Okay.
I was commiserating. I was like, that does suck. It's a bummer. But I hit the mute button because I was vaping.
So the last thing, I mean, obviously I have yard work stuff to talk about, but the last video game thing before I'll let you jump in is Run Box Run.
Okay.
All right, so let's see if I can find I should have brought this up beforehand. Let's see if I can find the actual tweet that set me off on this.
Run Box Run.
Run Box Run. Let's see. Where's my Twitter? Where's the things that Here we go. 2 days ago, a Tui.
Porn. A Tui.
Our good friends at Atui. Testing for the Atui collection patch is complete. Huzzah! Sorry for the massive delay. Folks will finally be able to complete Chicken Wiggle. We will be submitting the 3DS patch to Nintendo very soon. So, apparently there was something wrong with Chicken Wiggle in the Atui physical collection that came out for 3DS.
Huh.
And I just retweeted, completing Chicken Wiggle, eh? Wouldn't mind doing that on my Switch someday. Because here we are, years later, and Hatch Tales, it's been dead silent over on the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Not so much as a word. They have taken the money and run.
Not so much as a cheap, because that's the sound that birds make.
I'm so colossally disappointed in Atui.
Yeah.
Like, I supported the crap out of them and was really I contributed to that Kickstarter because, God damn it, I wanted to play that game. And
you wanted them to succeed.
I did. I really did. Yeah. And they have taken the money from this project and made other games with it.
Which is pretty fucked up. Interest.
It is. It's pretty fucked up. The last update was in May of this year. May 16th, 2022 was the last update. It was fucking sad.
That's too far away. That's too long ago.
I clicked on Atui's Twitter account just to kind of see, maybe there's something I missed lately. And apparently what I did miss was that, their new game, Run Box Run, that they've been pushing on social media, apparently if you own any of their previous games, you get Run Box Run for free.
Oh.
Okay.
Isn't that nice?
I'll give it a try.
It's not Hatch Tales, but...
It's not the game I paid for, but sure. Your latest project that you spent my money on without my consent, I'll go ahead and give that a try while it's free. So I hit the button and it took me to the store and it downloaded it automatically for me. Cool. So I tried playing it and I couldn't. Apparently it is an online only type of thing and I couldn't find anyone to play it with.
Aww.
There was nothing at all. I sat there for a few minutes and waiting for anything to happen, and nothing did. And I'm looking at Jules Watson's Twitter account. That is just the numbers on his like retweets and stuff, even from the Atui account, are incredibly small, and it really shows me that you burned everything. You had a very fun, dedicated audience, and you burned them so hard. And I don't understand why they aren't just focusing their effort on finishing the game. Like, what are you doing?
Who knows, man?
They just needed to release Chicken Wiggle in HD. They didn't need to reinvent the wheel. They just needed to do all that anyone wanted them to do. Put that game on my television. That's all you needed to do.
That's where I want it.
They jumped up with all this crazy ambitious stuff and then shit the bed. I'm so disappointed. I sang this company's praises from the rooftops, and
you did on this very show.
So very thoroughly let me down. And I'm holding out hope that someday they'll finish it, but it's not looking good.
No,
and especially the way that the Tui and Jules Watson block anybody that asks questions about it, like,
which is absurd.
Yeah, like, oh, how dare I ask what you spent my fucking money on?
That is absurd.
You want to get uppity at us? Like, sure. You want to get... Some people are getting really pissy about it, so that's a thing. But also, you've given them a little bit of a reason to be pissy. Like,
I don't know, man. For $8, you could put out all types of official sounding shit on behalf of Fuckface and Atui.
I suppose I could. $8 well spent. Although I think you can't now. I think they've suspended. That program.
Oh,
probably because they cost that company a whole shitload of money.
$20
not preparing to stop
billion
the most
in fake, but, like,
problem.
It's not actual real money, but like somebody's computer program was like, "Hey, we're missing some zeros."
Yeah,
it's a shame. I should have gotten a Tommy Tallarico account.
Oh, I'm surprised nobody else did.
Well, that's because no one cares.
That's a good point.
It's just us. It's us, and I think Pat the NES punk that still laugh about it. That's about it. Man, that's a bummer, man.
Yeah,
that's a bummer. That sucks.
It is a bummer, but you know what? Haiku the Robot, Shredder's Revenge, 60 frames per second, Pilot Wing 64, and Atari motherfucking 50. So, keep your Runbox run, even for free. Leaf blowing, Dan. How's the leaf situation at your house?
Well, see, here's the thing. I love the leaves in my backyard. Front yard doesn't get a ton. I don't really need to do anything about it. The backyard, I should be out there raking or blowing or, whatever. I don't, because my flock of animals have destroyed the grass in my backyard, so it's just dirt. So when the leaves fall, I get to look at something different.
See,
That's about it.
That surprises me to hear, because the problem that I don't really mind leaving leaves into the backyard. That doesn't bother me too much until we got the dog, because now I don't know where the shit is. If the leaves are there, then it becomes an entirely different minefield. If there's no leaves, it's very easy to spot.
That's fair. See, the difference is, I think, is that
you have 30 dogs and you just assume it's everywhere anyway?
I have horses in my backyard. It's not exactly easy to miss. It does, there are times where I will go out there and I'll be like, there must have been a wayward vagabond who decided to spend a few days in the backyard, unbeknownst to me, and just shit human-sized shits everywhere. Some wandering traveler hitchhiking his way from village to dell decided to spend a few days in the woods behind my house and used my backyard as his turlet. It really is fucking absurd.
Wow.
So much to the point, Chris, honestly, that Tiff and I have debated whether or not we should be digging a massive hole in the ground and installing one of those fucking composting whatever things that dog parks and vets and shit have, because there's just a lot. There's a lot of poop in my life.
Well, I tell you, the leaf blowing around, I'm working really hard on staying on top of it this year. It is one of my focal points for the front yard at the very least, and the back patio. The yard itself isn't getting a ton, and where it is bulking up is closer to the patio. So I'm blowing that stuff right out to the front yard and out onto the curb, because we have a leaf trucks come by our neighborhood and take that shit away.
We have the same. Yeah, just put it on the curb and they come sweep it up. This poor guy out there with a rake. I'm like, oh man.
Oh, our truck has just this gigantic fucking vacuum.
Oh no, we have that too, but the guy who has to come with the rake, because I live in a town where you didn't get every leaf, fuckface. What's wrong with you?
Oh,
you missed one.
See, we have no way of contacting these people. We don't even know when they're coming. There's no clearly posted schedule of when they're going to come get the leaves. It's just they'll get them when they're ready to get them. So you'd better be ready when they do, because if you miss the last one, you're shit out of luck.
The main street in my town is a very nice main street. It's got a lot of shops. It's got some high-end expensive shops. There's a Starbucks on our main street, right? Kind of thing. That's the low-end coffee place on the main street in the town that I live in. And I don't say that to be braggadocious or anything. It's just not everybody's main street has fucking multiple coffee. We have a Sotheby's auction house. It's fucking wild. But because we are located in a rather large county in New Jersey, in Camden County, our street paving situation is run by the county, and the main street was shit for the last 2 or 3 years. Just potholes, and people were starting to complain, and it got to the point where my town's government said, the local mayor basically contacted Camden County and was like, so I'm fucking paving this road. And they were like, well, you're not allowed to do that because that's the county job. And he went, yeah, go fuck yourself. Find me whatever you want. We have more than enough money. And indeed they did. and now it's a beautifully paved main street. And the county was like, "Oh man, but like you just did it without us. Like we threatened you, and you called our bluff." And they were like, "Yeah, we did. Get fucked." It's kind of awesome.
That is kind of awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So, but that short story long, if you miss a leaf, though, like, people get uppity about it. You know,
yeah,
like,
that's not the way it is out here. We're kind of like on our own. We're kind of hoping that they'll get all the leaves, and you know that rarely happens.
Yeah,
but either way, I'm trying real hard to stay on top of it. You know, everything that's not by the patio, I'll just mow over, and that's because that's extra fun. Yeah, but like, I swear to God, I go out there. I just the other day, it was it Thursday, I think. Not Thursday. What's today? Today's Friday, so it must have been Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday morning after I dropped the kids off from school. I went out there, I blew everything out to the curb. When I went to go pick the kids up from school, it looked like I had never been out there.
Yep, that's why just don't even bother.
But that's the thing. That's what always put me off it before. And then when I actually got out there to do it, it was just this massive fucking project, and it hurt my back and everything. And this year I'm like, no, I'm not going to get discouraged. I'm just going to do it every couple of days, and it's going to be a nice and easy trip that won't take me. It will take me less than an hour, and then it won't be this massive back-breaking project of blowing all the leaves onto giant tarps and dragging them out there because they're too heavy for the blower to blow around anymore.
Yeah.
Not doing that anymore.
Fuck all that.
I am staying on top of this shit this year, and it has been very fun.
I mean, it can be. I do enjoy the leaf blower.
I do too. It's really fun.
I do. I want a backpack one. I don't
see. I don't.
A backpack one, but
I had one, but we're gonna get to that. Actually, that's part of my second segment is talking about leaf blowers. But we'll get to that. That's it.
Oh, okay. I'm very excited now.
So, I just talked for like an hour. What have you been playing?
You really did. God damn, it's 56 minutes in.
There's so much good stuff.
I know. Yeah. So, Pad has been really awesome. We just had the official 10th anniversary of North American Pad. Was this past week, was on the 8th. They gave out 200 stones as a login bonus, which was really awesome because I spent a bunch of stones on the Marvel reskin. We did not get the Marvel collab. Japan got all the Marvel characters. We got all the same awakenings and leader skills and actives and all of that stuff, but without the Marvel artwork. For whatever reason. Like, it's amazing how much people know on the internet. Like, people who do not work for the company that know exactly why Gung Ho North America was not able to secure the rights for the Marvel collab. It just must be awesome to know that much without working for a company. It's just really, I wish I knew that much about literally anything. But whatever, it's fine. Would it have been nice to have Spider-Man instead of Benny Bana? Sure. But I still have the card. I still get to use the active skill. This new challenge just came out that's Captain Marvel's really good for, and we don't have Captain Marvel, but I have the reskin card, so that's what I'm going to beat it with. And that's fucking great. So that's been really awesome. I've spent a bunch of time obviously with that. I've played a fuck ton of Marvel Snap. I fucking love this game. I really, really do. It is really, really fun. Like, the game cycle is just so fucking great. It's so quick. I love the fact that it's really limited in the amount of options that you have. Like, your deck of cards is 12 cards. Like, that's it. You know, you're not looking at a 40-card deck like fucking Magic or Pokemon or whatever. You have 12 cards. And there's 6 rounds. And every now and again, like, you will play a 7-round game because one of the locations is like, this is now a 7-turn game. And you're like, oh, fucking shit. That's awesome. Or, like, then the TVA will show up and it'll be like, this is a 4-round game. It's like, oh, motherfucker, that's nuts. You know, and like trying to build different decks and do different things. The current deck that I'm playing with is all based on movement, because the Heimdall card, it's a 6-cost, 8-power card, right? So you can play it usually. There's very few instances where you can bring out a 6-cost card before the 6th turn, obviously, right? Like, they're very strong cards. They have a lot of either power or do really amazing things. You know, every now and again, one of the locations will give you extra energy, and you'll be like, oh, I can get this out on, like, turn 4, turn 5, or whatever. But what Heimdall does is you play the card, and every card at every location moves to the left. So there's 3 locations, right? So if you have, and you can only play maximum 4 cards per location. So if you've got, you know, your cards scattered about or whatever, you put Heimdall out on turn 6, and all of your cards shift to the left. So it's a really fun way to fuck with people of like, you know, you can kind of guess where people are building strategies and where they might play something on the last turn or whatever, and you can move all your cards over and totally change the game plan on the last turn, which is really cool. And then on top of that, there's a bunch of cards that work really well with that sort of deck, like the Kraven the Hunter card. Every time a card moves to a location that Kraven is at, he gets +2 power. So if you move a card over to Kraven, you know, if you move 3 cards over, that's +6 power. So this 2-cost card now has 8 power. That's really awesome. Multiple Man. If you move Multiple Man to a new location, a copy of that card spawns in the old location, which is really cool. Every time the Vulture card moves, it gets +5 power. So, like, I have in this deck, I have Iron Fist, right? Iron Fist is a 1-cost card, and comes with either the advantage or drawback, depending on how you look at it, of the next card that you play, whatever location you play it in, it bumps it over to the left one. So you can put Iron Fist out, then put Vulture out, bump him over 1, and then he'll get +5 power. And then you put out Heimdall, and that's another +5 power when he moves a second time. Like, it sounds, again, like I talked about a couple weeks ago, it sounds super complicated, but once you start playing it, you're like, oh, this is really fucking fun, man. And that's not the only type of deck that works. There's Devil Dinosaur themed decks that, depending on the amount of cards that you have in your hand, Devil Dinosaur gets +2 power for every card that you have in your hand. Well, Moon Girl works really well with that because she duplicates your entire hand. So you could, like, it's just, oh, it's so fucking fun, man. And it's so, like, the upgrade system is so smart. It's just so smart. You're getting every card, knowing that you're going to get every card, even though it might be random. And then upgrading the way the cards look. When you get to a certain point, I fully upgraded Nightcrawler today. And once you fully upgrade a card, you get a split variant of that card that you can start a whole nother upload track with. And it's got different things that happen to it. And the artwork is gorgeous. Like, it is high quality artwork. And then it's got a bunch of all, like, crazy variants that you can buy in the shop or get from different reward paths. There's, like, pixel variants and baby variants, like the Scotty Young style, like, baby variant cards. It's fucking great, man. It's so fun. It's so fun. I'm so happy with it. And hopefully within the next month or so, they said they're adding, like, a friends list, because right now you can only play against bots or other people that randomly join a match, right? It's just kind of random matchmaking based on where you are in the collection level. But within the next month or so, there's supposed to be a friends list edition where you can then play against other people that you know, just like, hey, you want to play? Yes. And that's fucking great. That's really cool. So I'm very excited about that. The main thing that I've been spending time on, though, is not God of War Ragnarok, because I did not pick that up until yesterday. And it is fucking great. I'll talk about it in a minute. But the main thing that I've been spending time with is Cursed to Golf. What do you know about this, Kris?
I know it's on my wish list. I know I was sad that I didn't get the review for it for Nintendo Force. The trailer looked really great. I've heard mixed reviews, but I'm curious what you make of it.
Here is what you need to know. You personally, Kris Randazzo, need to know about this game. You must have it. You must.
I don't know.
I don't know why I know that. I don't know that it'll be your favorite game ever, but I know that you're going to love it. It is so fucking annoyingly fun. Like, because it's a roguelike, right? So, like, the courses are different every single time. And they are insane. Like, at the golfing that you do in this game is fucking crazy. It makes absolutely zero sense.
It really does look like my brand is stupid.
Really, really is. It's got great music. The art style is great. The characters are really cool. I just got through the first kind of zone against the Scotsman, right? And once you take on the Scotsman, you get to like the second. And I haven't even gotten and I fucking died right away. Like I lost the whole. And then it sucks because you have to go back and start over. Like you have to. The frustrating part of this game is that in order to beat the game, you have to beat all 18 holes. Like, you have to beat them all in one round. And they're different every time. And if you fail a hole, you go back to the beginning. Now, there is a part where, like, once you get through it, you can put, like, a return marker, but you have to pick where you're going to put that. So, like, you get through the first set of holes or whatever, and you get into the second zone. If you're confident, if you've played it enough, like you can get maybe to the third zone and then you put down the marker. But if not, you can put down the marker at the beginning of the second zone. So even if you get up to the 18th hole and you fail, you go back to the 5th. And it's like, fuck, man. Like, that's really hard. Like, it is a game that, much like golf, you have to play through. But man, is it fucking fun. It is challenging and interesting, and the mechanics of what you can do with the ball, with the different, their power-up system is called ace cards. And there's just all these fucking weird things that you can do with them. Some are like super duper basic, like it just gives you extra shots throughout the rounds, because you start with like 4 or 5 shots. You cannot get through an entire level on 4 or 5 shots. You have to hit these different idols throughout the course to give you, like, a gold idol gives you 2 extra shots, and a silver one gives you like 1 extra shot. And what's interesting about it is, like, you'll hit the ball and you'll be in between 2 different options, right? You could go to the left, you could go to the right. If you look at the left, there's an idol over there, and like you can look through the entire course, but it'll be like a longer path. So, like, yes, I could get this idol, but then it's going to take me longer to get to the flag. The right is shorter, whatever. So you can use like an ace card practice shot, and if you use the practice shot, you can hit the idol, get the extra shots. It doesn't count off your shot total because it was just a practice shot. And then you go off to the right and do what you got to do. Like, there's a ton of, like, strategy involved in it. There's this one ace card that's really fun, the lead weight, where, like, when you activate it, the ball just drops, like, straight down, won't bounce. And there's a bunch of TNT boxes throughout the stages that often are blocking shortcuts, so you can hit the ball, drop it with the lead weight, it'll fall through the fucking TNT, and you'll get into, like, a new section. It's fun, dude. It's so fun. It's so fun. It's really, really hard. Like,
yeah, that's what
it's hard.
The negatives that I've heard about it is it's overly difficult, But,
it is. But it's not unfairly difficult. It's just hard. And that's fine. Like, I'm all right with that. You know, this isn't a game that I need to, like, this is so fucking cheap. I can't believe I didn't beat it. Like, no, I'm just not good enough yet. I'm cool with that. And it's still, like, even when you lose, it's still fun. Like, that's kind of where the roguelike elements that it has kind of works in its favor. Because, like, I made it through 4 holes and I lost on the 5th one, whatever, I start over. And they're new holes. You know, like, it's a new course. It's always changing. And that, like, yes, you can't memorize your way through the course, but because it is so hard, it keeps it interesting and fresh. At least so far in the week or so that I've been playing it. A month from now, if I'm still stuck like halfway through the fucking course, but god damn it, I just want to memorize the holes, you know. But oh man, it's super super fun. I really really like it.
Huh.
You gotta have it. You gotta have, like,
it's already on my wish list. You know, whenever it gets cheap enough, I was planning on picking it up anyway. But your positive reviews certainly make me excited to get it.
I got it on sale. It was either the November sale or it might have been the Halloween sale on the PlayStation Store. Because, like, you're a zombie golfer, I guess. But, like, it was, like, $7.50 or something like that. So I was like, yeah, I'll get that. And then, also, because, we haven't even talked since before Halloween. Penn and I were playing through Pumpkin Jack, which is a really cool Halloween-style game. It felt... It's very similar to A Hat in Time in, like, that it is a sort of modern... N64 style platformer, but really really good, like a really really fun game, and definitely something that we will bust out like every Halloween, because it's like 4 or 5 hours, you know. So we'll play every season. We'll add this along with like Savage Halloween, and you know, in Nightmares I picked up for Penn. She's really digging that. But like on those kind of fun family game type things, Pumpkin Jack, really really cool. But you've played an N64 platformer, that's basically what you're looking. Good music though, like good graphics, interesting stuff and whatever. But like, I mean, honestly, the main thing, Chris, is Ragnarok.
Yeah, this is what we're here for.
And god damn it,
you got it on the PS5, right?
Yeah. Fuck, man. Like, it's just, I'm like maybe an hour and a half into it, and I've already met Odin, who's voiced by fucking Tony, what the fuck's his last name? Leo from West Wing. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Didn't he die?
Did he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
he might have died. So, well, it fucking sounds just like him. They made him like an old Jewish guy. It's fucking awesome.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, no, there was a whole plot point where he died. The actor died, and they dedicated an episode to him and stuff.
Or maybe not Leo. Who's the balding dude with the beard?
Toby?
The advisor. Toby! Not Tony, sorry. Yeah, Toby. Sorry,
okay, yeah, that would make sense. He was in Thor Ragnarok. Not Thor Ragnarok. He was in Richard Schiff. He was in
Richard
Wakanda
Schiff,
Forever as well.
Yeah. Oh, was he?
Yeah. Let's see. Was he in? That was him. Yep. He voiced Odin.
He is fucking
US
Odin.
Secretary of State.
And he just sounds like fucking Toby in West Wing. Like he came in, like Thor shows up. This isn't like the first hour of the game. Thor shows up, and I think it's Josh Brolin who's doing Thor. I didn't bother to check any of this shit. That's who it sounded like, though. But he's, like, Kratos in game is a big fucking dude, right? Like, he's big and he's jacked and whatever. And Thor comes in, and he just dwarfs Kratos. Like, he's wider, he's thicker, like, he's just a barrel-chested fuck. He looks almost like the size, like, comparatively speaking, of the way Andre the Giant looked in Princess Bride. Like, he's just that much larger than everyone. It was fucking awesome.
Thor is played by someone named Ryan Hurst?
Well, it sounds a fuck of a lot like Josh Brolin. Imagine Thanos, that voice coming out of this just fucking giant man. Covered in tattoos, like very much in the style of the way they depicted the Norse gods in the first God of War for PlayStation 4. But like they're having a conversation, and then fucking skinny Odin shows up, and it's fucking Toby, and he's talking like an old Jewish dude. It was awesome.
Oh, he was Opie on Sons of Anarchy.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
He sounds great. He's doing a great job. And Odin tries to make a deal with Kratos to protect Atreus, his son, who, as we discussed, spoiler warnings, and then we got yelled at, even though we put the spoiler warnings in there, who is Loki and is a giant and all of those things. Like, Odin's trying to make a deal with Kratos. Kratos says no. And then you fight Thor. In the beginning, and the whole time you're fucking fighting, it's incredible. It just, like, Thor is just, they're just beating the shit out of each other. It's amazing, and the whole time this is happening, he keeps going, I want to see the real God of War. Where is the ghost of Sparta? Blah, you know, like, he's just talking shit to him the whole time. And eventually Kratos, like, fucking, you get to a point in the fight where Kratos just freaks out and starts hammering on Thor. He's like, there he is. I'll see you soon. And like he takes off. It's like, fuck you, dude. And then you start your quest for Tyr, the Norse god of war, because Odin has said that he's dead. He told Mimir, the fucking head that you carry with you, who's back and is amazing. You know, everybody thinks Tyr is dead, but Atreus knows that he's alive, and now I'm on my way to find him. There's a really cool thing that happened with Atreus in the beginning that I don't want to spoil for anyone. But a really fucking cool thing. God, it just looks gorgeous. It looks incredible. I am so fucking blown away by how this game looks. Like, I turned it on last night and I was like, this doesn't look that good. And Tiff was like, what the fuck is wrong with it? I was like, I'm kidding. She got so mad because it looks so goddamn good. It fucking plays like a dream. This game is amazing. I'm an hour into it, but like, there's your game of the year. Fuck, man. God damn.
I heard someone say God of War Ragnarok on PlayStation 5 is fine. It's expected. Of course it looks amazing. That's what you bought the PlayStation 5 for. But apparently the PS4 version is a work of fucking witchcraft.
I don't know how it could possibly work on the 4.
Apparently it
don't
does.
know. I don't know. I went and bought it physically. I don't know why I bought it physically, but I have the other one physically, so I went and bought this one physically too. I just felt like I should. It's fucking great, man. It's so good. What's awesome about it is that it has a very similar opening battle to the way like you fight the Hydra and the Colossus and the way you're climbing up Gaia in God of War 3 and like the original trilogy. It has that sort of epic, impactful battle to start, but this one is so much more personal and intimate. Like, it's a much smaller creature that you're fighting, but it still has as much impact, and it's really cool to see them be able to pull off that sort of epic scale of impact in a much smaller, confined setting. It's just, oh my god, I don't know. I don't know how you do this. Like, I don't know how this kind of thing gets made. I can look at a game like Curse to Golf, and this is not a knock against it, but I can look at something like Curse to Golf. I can look at something like Hollow Knight, and I can see how you how you get from point A to point B creatively, right? I play something like Ragnarok, and I'm like, how the fuck did you do this? God damn you. I mean, thank you, but how the... wow. It is impressive.
I have to say, I'm looking at this comparison video that IGN posted of the PS4 versus PS5, and I'm like, I'm kind of dumbfounded. Like, it can, when they zoom on very specific things, like I can see, okay, I see how that's better on PS5, but it does not look very different. It does not look very different on PS4, and I am dumbfounded. It's wild. Like,
yeah, we really didn't need to go to the next generation yet. Like, we really didn't. At the end of the day, like, we could still be on the Xbox One. Yeah, the Xbox One or the PS4.
I mean, unless there were actual human sacrifices involved to get this to look this good on PS4.
Which, I mean
I'm not
fine.
putting it past them. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, as long as they were voluntary human sacrifices. But
yeah,
I mean, seriously,
they were old,
this is,
hopefully.
I'm just in awe here, and it's not even just the Pro, like even just regular PS4, because they're doing a 3-way comparison between you can, when you're really looking for it, you can see the difference in the PS5 version, but it is amazing how the PS4 version stacks up to this. It's like,
yeah,
what did you do? How did you do this?
Yeah, I mean it.
But yeah, I guess it just goes to show that the generation didn't need to. I'm sure the PS5 version is like quicker load times and all that other stuff. I'm sure it is the definitive way to play it, without a doubt. But just that the graphics are this close is freaking nuts to me.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. It is a gorgeous fucking game.
This really does look like fun. I really should get around to playing the first one.
I'll give it back to you.
I don't even know if you need to. I may have bought it at some point.
It's just, man, it was such a smart, like, man, it was such a smart way to update the franchise, to take it in a new direction. And I'm telling you, man, that moment in the God of War for PS4, where you retake the fucking the Blades of Chaos, like when, oh my god, it was such an incredible moment, and you knew it was coming. You know, you knew there was no way you were going through the rest of the game with the Leviathan axe, and you're going through the thing, and Athena shows up, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm in this rowboat, Athena's here, like I'm heading back to the cabin, I know I'm going to get the Blades of Chaos, and it didn't lessen how incredible that moment was, and the fucking like gut punch that it was for Kratos. The voice actor who plays him did such an incredible job of communicating just how painful of a decision it was for him to retake those things and become the God of War again. Just an incredible piece of storytelling. Fucking brilliant.
Is he still the same guy from the old PlayStation?
Yeah.
2 ones?
Mm-hmm. But like older and smarter as like an actor and as a character. It's a fascinating journey, and it really, like, you really could just jump in with the PS4 version with God of War 2018 or whatever the fuck.
That's probably what I'll do. I mean, I played God of War 1 and 2 on PS2 back in the day. I don't think I need to catch up with all the rest of them.
I think 3 is an incredibly great game, and you fucking fight Zeus at the end of it. Like, you kind of get through, and like, you could just jump in with the PS4. It's a little
not
bit
the same guy.
It's not? Son of a bitch, it sounds like it.
Because I recognize that guy. Hi, I am a Star Wars whore. The guy who did the PS2 God of War, I can't remember his name, but he voiced Clone Wars. I'm pretty sure that's the guy who voiced Mace Windu on the Clone Wars show. Let's see if I can find this. Mace Windu, Terrence Carson, and he
that sounds right.
He was Kratos in the original God of War for PlayStation 2. And let's see, how far up did he go? There's God of War 2. of War. Let's go ahead and
I really thought it was the same dude.
let's see, what was his last God of War? Looks like Ascension was his last God of War game. Was that the last one before the reboot?
I believe so. I believe that was the last PSP one.
Yeah, I think this new guy took over because his first... Yeah, Christopher Judge, his first listed God of War game
was God of War.
Yeah, let's make sure I'm not crazy. Yeah, 2018's God of War. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
Whatever.
Interesting. But he also played Magneto on X-Men Evolution, which, if you've never watched X-Men Evolution, is a fan-fucking-tastic show. Season 1 sucks, but...
It gets
Season
better.
2, it gets so very much better. He also played the voice of Zodak in He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the 2003-2004 cartoon.
Oh, shit. That's awesome.
The more you know.
The more you know. Yeah, you really should, man. These games are fucking great. They're just great. They're great on so many levels. Like, they hit that Norse mythology itch that I absolutely love. They, and the original, like, I fucking love mythology. I used to check out from the Williamstown Library right on fucking Main Street, Williamstown. I used to go all the time when I was a kid and just keep checking out Bullfinch's mythology. I fucking love that shit. Just reading through it and, like, digesting all of that, those stories and all of that stuff. And to get through the original God of War trilogy and, like, going after that pantheon of gods, and then, like, all right, because I remember back in the day of David Jaffe, like, when the first God of War came out, being like, yeah, you could go to, like, Egypt and, like, kill that pantheon of gods, and that sounded like such a cool idea. But then after playing through the God of War games, it was like, all right, but, like, how would this really work, though? And God of War 2018 makes it fucking make sense. And it fundamentally changes Kratos as a character by giving him the son, and it's amazing. It's just amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, could not be happier. And so, I mean, like I said, it's basically still adventure. But man, like, they're fucking nailing it. Absolutely nailing it.
Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't surprise me. They've been putting a whole lot of work into the game, and it shows.
Yeah, it really does.
It shows, but in a good way. Like, when I was, we started watching Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power, a couple days ago, and, like, 5 minutes in, I was like, this show sure looks expensive. And we went to go see Wakanda Forever, and there was a trailer for the stupid new Avatar movie, and I was like, yeah,
that looks expensive.
That looks like they spent a lot of money on it. And what you want is not for it to look like they spent a bunch of money on it. You just want to not think about how much money they spent on it, because that's how believable it is. And that's what I got from watching this God of War video, is like, this just seems natural. It looks expensive, but only when I'm thinking about it, because, like, it just looks like they did it right. And you gotta love that.
Yeah, you really do. Like,
25 to 60 hours to finish, huh?
Yeah. I'm all right with that.
I don't know if I'll ever actually get around to it, but I'd like to. So my question to you is this: what takes precedence? Do I track down God of War, or do I play Knights of the Old Republic?
Oh man, as much as I love Knights of the Old Republic, that's not even close. It's God of War. Knights of the Old Republic is, I mean, when that remake comes out, it will be really interesting to see if they update any of the combat mechanics or whatever, because, like, it is a really good game. It is a really good game. But they did, like, did you play Jade Empire or Dragon Age or, like, any of the other fucking BioWare games that came out after that?
I've played a few minutes of Mass Effect and it didn't catch me. And that's the thing. I've never thought that this game looked like a game for me. And I don't know.
It's the story that carries it. I wouldn't have loved this game I wouldn't love Knights of the Old Republic if it wasn't Star Wars. Like, I played Knights of the Old Republic and was like, this is fucking great. I love this game. And then they announced Jade Empire, and I was like, oh, that looks like it's just for me. And it's by the team that did Knights of the Old Republic. I can't wait. And then I got Jade Empire, and I went, oh, I only like Knights of the Old Republic because it was Star Wars. This sucks. Like, and just, I think I spent like an hour with it and was like, well, that's not for me, apparently. So, and I feel similarly to the Mass Effect games. Like, I know people love them, and I really tried to get through. I bought the Mass Effect trilogy when it came out. I was like, I am going to at least try to get through the first one. And maybe 5 hours in before I just like, nah, it's not Star Wars. You know? So, that being the case, I do think you will like Knights of the Old Republic. I don't think you'll have a ton of fun playing it, but you will enjoy the overall experience. Does that make sense?
It does, but you're not really selling me on it.
No, I know. Which is why I'm saying, like, I really hope for the reboot, they kind of streamlined some of the... It was very... they tried to... There's a lot going on in the combat system. And just, like, the leveling and the RPG-ness of Knights of the Old Republic that, with modern sensibilities and design, could be streamlined and made into a much more fun experience. Because there's a lot going on. And like I said, it was an incredible story. Like, I fucking loved that game and its sequel, which is nowhere near as good. But I just enjoyed the shit out of it. Like, it was such a great expansion of, like, the official Star Wars canon and the lore, and it added spokes to the wheel, and the stuff with, you know, Darth Revan, and, like, all of that stuff was just, it was so cool. But the gameplay itself, there's a lot of menus. There's a lot of clicking on different shit. And I know that's not your thing. It's really not. So if they streamline it and kind of make it, you know, with modern sensibilities, I think there's the possibility that there will be as much fun to be had with it, if not more so, than the original one. But if you're asking between that and God of War, that's not even close.
Okay.
Not even fucking close. There are so many games that I would tell you that you should play over Knights of the Old Republic until that remake comes out. Like, you should play fucking Ghost of Tsushima before that shit. That game was amazing. You should play Death Stranding. That game was fucking weird. Like, but you should experience it. You should go down that rabbit hole.
All right, well, speak of going down holes, we're going to take ourselves a quick break. When we come back, we are going to talk about some of our holiday wish lists for this year of things that we want for Christmas, or things that you should buy for your loved ones, like us. Or,
that's right.
You know, or things that you should put on your own holiday wish lists. All manner of stuff. So you are listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around. The holiday shopping season is once again upon us, and if you're looking for some excellent gift ideas, we have a few that might be right for you.
So, look, getting someone a dog for Christmas, Chris, actually a terrible idea. Like, full stop, don't do it. I mean, get yourself a dog, all you want. That's a great idea. Dogs are awesome. They love without questioning. They comfort when you need them. They bring almost, because we're honest, nothing but joy. Sometimes not joy, but almost nothing but joy. And if you're going to get yourself a dog, whether at the holidays or at any time, you should most definitely adopt from a rescue, like Safe at Home. Tiff and I run Safe at Home out of our own home with help from a network of fosters. Rescue dogs ultimately are cheaper, they're already vetted, and they make amazing family pets. They also take some work, because they don't always come from the best situations in the world, but it is honestly worth it. If you find yourself within the sound of our voices and also in the tri-state area, or are willing to travel a bit, check out safeathomerescue.org. If not, check out your local rescues. Do not go to a breeder, do not go to a puppy mill, do not go to a dude that you see on Facebook. Like, go to a rescue. If a dog is not right for you at the moment, please consider donating, either to us, safeathomerescue.org, or to your local. It really does make a huge, huge difference, because none of us that do this are making any money off it. Like, it is, we are losing money, but we're helping, and that's really ultimately what.
In the non-living department, are you in the market for some new artwork to display in your home? The fun feminist fandom fiber art of Shoot the Moon Stitches could fit that bill. Karen, my wife and this week's episode co-host, has an entire shop full of cross-stitch creations for all walks of life. Patterns based on Marvel, Star Wars, Doctor Who, seasonal ornaments, and more make great gifts for anyone.
Speaking of art, do you have a favorite character that you'd like original art of? Like perhaps Sleepwalker with a bird on his hand? Do you have an art project that you need help completing? Well, sir and or madam, Geekade's Angie Fernot just so happens to be a fantastic freelance artist and illustrator who takes commissions. Portraits, illustrations, graphic design, she does it all.
Do you know someone who loves Nintendo? Nintendo Power Magazine may be a thing of the past, but Nintendo Force is a current physical magazine that makes for one heck of a stocking stuffer. Each issue comes with a poster and is filled to the brim with reviews, previews, news, comics, and more. If you've got a Nintendo fan in your life, a subscription would make one heck of a great gift.
Now, if comics are more your thing, Tales of Cape Fear is a new anthology-style comic book filled with terrifying tales and exceptional artwork. Numerous talented writers and artists regularly contribute, and who knows what they'll come up with next.
I sure don't, but I know that you can find links to all these wonderful projects and more at geekade.com in our Friends section at the bottom of our homepage. Hi everyone, Kris here. Podcast listening is free, but podcast creation is not. That's why the Geekade Patreon exists. In an effort to help us pay the bills, we've got a Patreon page set up where you can gain access to our monthly podcast topic schedule, get early access to many of our shows, and more. If you'd like to help support Geekade and keep these shows running week after week, head over to the Geekade Patreon page, linked in the show notes of this very podcast. And now, here's a quick look at some of the other original content available now from our partners and Geekade.com.
First up, Geekade.com has gotten a makeover. Over the past few weeks, we've been hard at work behind the scenes, making our website sleeker, leaner, and more effective than ever before. Gone are the various confusing menus, and in their place are gigantic icons that can take you exactly where you want to go. Don't worry, all of our legacy content is still there, so if you want to explore our older podcast articles and videos, handy links are right there on the homepage. There are also individual bios for all our current podcasters, new easy-to-navigate pages, and more. Head over to the brand new Geekade.com and give it a look.
Next, StoneAgeGamer.com is once again celebrating the totally real and not at all made up various colored Fridays in November. Turquoise Friday.
Love that.
Right? Who doesn't love Turquoise Friday or Magenta Friday? And of course, the all-famous Black Friday. We'll be bringing all manner of great deals along for the ride, like discounts on brands like Retro Frog, Humble Bazooka, Eon, Retro Fighters, and more. Follow us on Stone Age Gamer's social media or head on over to stoneagegamer.com to see what brightly colored sale is happening now.
Love it. Friday. Finally, Chris. Scott motherfucking Bakula is a national treasure. That's his actual middle name. Is a national treasure. I know, I looked it up. Well, actually, we're good friends. Me and Scott motherfucking Bakula. That's the only way I address him. Computer monitor. Hold on. There, it's back. And the reason we all know who he is largely thanks to the classic TV series Quantum Leap. Said not how you said that.
That's exactly. You nailed it.
Well, there's a new Quantum Leap on the block, and while it's currently over 95% Bakula free, it does follow up on the original show's legacy and storyline. But, and I think this is the crux of the issue here, Chris, is it any good? Well, it's what Evan, Chris, Karen, and Angie are here to find out. Plus, Chris does an in-depth recap of some Star Wars shorts, and I mean in-depth for Chris. Karen pulls out her sonic screwdriver, and Angie shamefully indulges in some high-water antics. Don't miss this week's episode 258. It's a ham and cliche sandwich.
Love that episode title.
That's a great
For all this and more from
title.
us and our partners, be sure to keep your eyes on Geekade.com. We are back, and we had this fun idea that since this episode is going to go live, was it the week before, or actually on Black Friday? When's Black Friday? The 25th.
Week before.
Week before. So week before Black Friday, we're going to talk about some things that we want to buy and or have bought for us for the Christmas season. So, Dan, what kind of stuff? How you got your stuff broken down?
I just kind of put it in the list as it came to me. I'll kind of like pick and choose as we're going through here, because some of it is like shit that like I actually want or I think people would want, and some of it is just shit like you should have. Like I'll give you my first one. I think you should put on your list, or somebody should purchase for me, a package of USB-C cables.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because, like, I always need one fuck, I need a cable. God damn it. Where's the cable? And then you find the cable and the dog chewed on it, or the cat chewed it up, or it just doesn't work very well, or it's a cheap USB-C cable, so it doesn't work with the thing you're trying to get it to work with, and you need to go get another one. Now I gotta order a fucking just give me a pack of cables. Just good cables. They're like $10 on Amazon for like a pack of 2 or 3. Everybody should have that.
That's a good one. I like that one quite a bit.
Right.
Well, I started off with a bunch of books. I got
3 of those on my list.
I was like getting books, like video game related books in particular.
I like to look at them.
Yeah, I like looking at them too. And you were talking about looking at books. Art of Atari is right there up at the top. Tim Lapatino's Art of Atari is a phenomenal book. It's been out for a couple of years. I'm pretty sure it's still in print. It's masterful. It's wonderful. It's especially right now with the 50th anniversary of Atari. It's a great one to look at. If you want another kind of look a bit into more of the history of the actual Atari company itself, Once Upon Atari, that's actually on my Christmas list. I've been meaning to read that for a while now, but Once Upon Atari is the book by Howard Scott Warsaw, who did Yar's Revenge and E.T., and it's supposed to be quite good. There's a pair. I got more, obviously. What else you got in the book department?
One of the books I have is I had a couple novels on here. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. It is a novelization of two kids' friendship and kind of the story of their lives as they grow up. It takes place like over a 30-year span. And like they get jobs working for like video game developers. So like the video game stuff is kind of tertiary to the overall story of friendship and the trials and tribulations of their lives and all that. But a really cool novel. And then the other novel that I had on here is probably my favorite novel of the year. Apologies to Matt, who we had on last week. But Kaiju Preservation Society is the new novel by John Scalzi. It is fucking great. It's so funny. John Scalzi is such a brilliant writer. The audiobook version of this is read by Will Wheaton, who also read Ready Player One, and it's kind of weird expecting to hear some Ready Player One shit happen, but it's still just Kaiju Preservation Society. At least that was weird for me, because I read the book and then listened to KPS as well. This is a book that Mr. Scalzi wrote during the pandemic, when he was supposed to be writing a different book. But like a lot of people, the pandemic and Trump and all of that shit hit him really, really hard. And this is the book that grew out of it. It's funny and brilliant and has a poignant message throughout it. And kaiju, it's great. It's awesome.
Well, I'll stick with the novels department. I would recommend Sega CD Summer, actually. I know we just did a whole episode on it. I think that would make a pretty cool gift. It was a good book. Obviously, you heard me talk about it last week. And then another novel that I still think is great. It was a fascinating read, and it was really fun to read. Is Console Wars, which is it's a great book. It's not 100% accurate history book, but it's not trying to be. It tells a part of video game history as a narrative, and it makes for one heck of a fascinating and fun read. It's such a cool book, and I thought the TV adaptation was a terrible disappointment because it was just it was just a little TV documentary thing. It was just talking head documentary. It wasn't the book at all. It was, doing a history lesson on that specific area, but the book is telling a story. There's characters with dialogue and stuff. Like, these people didn't say these things. Nobody was there recording them. This is a story being told, and it's a really good one. So, Console Wars and Sega CD Summer would be good gifts to give people.
Agreed. I would also recommend Go Straight, the ultimate guide to side-scrolling beat-em-ups.
That's on my Christmas list.
Yep, we had Dave Cook on the show when we were talking about Ninja Baseball Spirits. Good dude, funny dude. You should also be backing all of their shit as well. But this is a 450, 500-page deep dive into beat-em-ups. And it's just awesome. You should definitely... I want somebody to buy this for me. I want somebody to buy it for you. I want everybody to have a copy of this book. One, because I like Dave. But two, it's just a really fucking cool book. It's got gorgeous artwork. Just really, really awesome. And then the other non-novel that I had on my list was Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, the triumphant, turbulent stories behind how video games are made. And this was a book written by Jason Schreier from Kotaku. And it's basically... Formerly of Kotaku.
Yeah, he's with Bloomberg now.
Yes. But it is a look at how video games are actually made. And not little games, not maybe we'll talk about, no, it's big, Diablo, fucking Bethesda, EA type, big games. And it's an interesting look into this world that I think so many of us are big fans of, and it's important to our lives and all of those things. And like I was saying earlier with God of War, I just don't know how that happens. So definitely cool.
Nice. I got two more in this category.
All right.
The first one is Actually, just it's a series of books. Limited Run Games started a book publishing label called Press Run, and they have some really, really cool stuff. Obviously, they have the Jeremy Parish's books, since he works for Limited Run now, are going to be done through there. Currently, SNES Works Volume 1 and NES Works 1987 are available. Same with Virtual Boy Works are available from his books, but his older stuff, like NES Works 85 and 86, Game Boy Works and stuff, those are all going to get reprints through Limited Run. There's a History of Sunsoft book that looks really, really interesting to me. It's History of Sunsoft Volume 1.
I was just listening to their podcast about Blaster Master on Retronauts, and they were talking about that book.
Yeah, sign me the heck up for that. There's also a PlayStation retrospective book coming next year. Looks interesting. So that's super good. And also, I always have to plug it, but I swear it just keeps getting better every year. The Nintendo Force magazine. It's pretty cheap per issue. I think it's like $5 per issue. Yeah. And I write for them. There's a lot of extremely talented writers and artists working in this magazine, and it's special. Every other month a new issue comes out, and it's always something really special. There's our 10th anniversary is coming up. I think our next issue is the 10th anniversary of Nintendo Force, which is wild. We're going to do a big retrospective year by year of what's changed in the magazine and what's been going on with Nintendo in every one of those years and how much that stuff's been changing. It's a really great magazine. Even if I wasn't writing for it, I'd recommend the crap out of it. Each issue comes with a poster. It's a wonderful
good
thing.
Stuff.
It is good stuff. And there's other physical magazines out there too. I can only personally vouch for Nintendo Force because that's the one that I subscribe to. I just saw one for there's a Sega magazine out there, and Sega Powers or something like that. It's a physical Sega magazine out there that looks really good. So there's physical magazines out there, and a magazine subscription is the kind of thing that a lot of people would appreciate having but wouldn't spend the money on themselves, which is that's the best kind of gift as far as I'm concerned. Those are my favorite gifts to get, the kinds of things that I would want but I would never spend the money on, even though I would definitely get my money's worth out of it. So,
or just wouldn't even think to spend the money on.
Exactly, because who's thinking about magazine subscriptions these days?
Yeah.
So that's all I got in the books department.
All right. Well, I'm going to jump over to let me see, where do I want to go on my list? So one of the things that I mentioned last year, that'll be the next section on my list. Things that I mentioned last year that I still think I would either like because I didn't get or you should still get. I think Apple AirTags are still a phenomenal gift. Kind of in the same vein, very, very different than a magazine subscription, obviously, but the kind of thing that once you have it, be like, oh my God, this is such a great idea. Why didn't I have this before? But not necessarily the type of thing you spend money on, right? Apple AirTags, you can put them on your pets, on your children, on your devices, on your whatever, and it will show you a geolocation, coordinates, and all that stuff of where your thing with the Apple AirTag is. Tile is a platform agnostic version of this, but I am an Apple whore for certain things, and I just really like the way the AirTags work. They're like $30 for one. You can sometimes find them cheaper, like $5 off, whatever, the way Apple products usually are. But going on, when I made this list, I went on Amazon and made sure that this was all stuff that would be easily accessible. You can get one Apple AirTag for $30 or a pack of 4 for $95. They are really, really cool. Especially if you're the type of person who loses shit often.
Should get one of these for Karen.
Does she lose shit often, or do you just lose Karen often?
No, you know what? Actually,
where the fuck is my wife?
I've got that kind of backwards. She doesn't lose things very often, but she drops her phone all the time, and this isn't going to help with that.
Well, I mean, it will, because you can look it up on your computer or on your watch.
No, she doesn't drop it and lose it. I mean, like, she would, when we used to both work at the same place at the tech center, I'd drop her off in the morning, and like twice a week she would stand up and her phone would just clomp out of the car and land in the parking lot, and she'd always pick it back up and be like, I shouldn't be allowed to have things.
No, that you should get her some Velcro strips.
Yeah,
Like, it's a way cheaper gift, way cheaper option.
Nice.
No, I think these things are cool. Like, I know, like, they sell on Amazon, you can get pet collars that are like $8, and they have a little slot where you pop the AirTag in case your dog ever goes wandering. Like, especially if you get a rescue dog, sometimes they like to run because they've been in cages their whole life, and they're like, bah, freedom, fuck! And, like, they just can't handle it, you know, so, like, they take off. Which is fine. Like, shit happens, you know? Yeah. People lose animals. It's okay. Not everybody has their dog microchipped, and if your dog is microchipped, then they have to get picked up, and the microchip has to be scanned, and, like, all of that stuff. With an AirTag, know where the dog is at all times. Or your children. That's actually the more important thing. Like, let's be honest. You just AirTag your kids. Like, surgically implant that into their necks. I have teenagers. This is what I'm worried about.
Let's see here. I am going to stick with the tech department. And I am going to... This is a very different direction, but this is something that I messed with recently that just made me so happy. It is the HyperClick mouse.
Oh, yeah.
We sell it on Stone Age Gamer. I just did a video about it. I do videos for Stone Age Gamer all the time. And I genuinely enjoy the products that they give me to test and make videos out of. But oh my god, this Super NES HyperClick mouse made me so stupid happy. It was ridiculous. It's a new mouse for Super Nintendo that it's not a ball mouse. It's like an infrared mouse. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's got to be other ones of these out there in the world. I've just never heard of them. This one's from Hyperkin, and it's it's where I was playing Arkanoid. I didn't want to stop. I was like, oh my god, this game is so good. And just remembering how that game felt, I still remembered trying to play through that game with the Super NES mouse, the one that was with Mario Paint, and like the cable was so short, and it was so much better than using a D-pad, but it was still like, you know, so I'm playing on the floor in front of my TV, and even though I've got the mouse pad, there's still like, you know, lint and stuff floating around. So you have to like stop and clean the ball out constantly because you're playing on the damn floor because the cable's, 3 feet on the Super NES mouse? It was ridiculous. So this has a 6-foot cable. Sorry, I'm looking it up on there it is. Super NES HyperClick mouse from Hyperkin. So it's got a 6-foot cable. It's pretty beefy, which is like weird because I'm used to a smaller mouse because I use a Magic Mouse on my Mac. But it didn't take long to get used to. And it's the infrared, so there's no ball. So controlling stuff like Mario Paint, Tin Star, Arkanoid, Do It Again, Lemmings 2, like it felt so goddamn good. It's like the thing's $20. If you play Super Nintendo games, you have any affinity for these things, and just Arkanoid Do It Again, that's not even an expensive game, right? What is that these days? Starting. If you don't happen to have a flash card for Super Nintendo, I know flash cards have been tough to get for the last year or so.
Sure.
Arkanoid Do It Again for Super Nintendo is like it's $20. It's like a $20 game.
It's really a fucking blast.
It's one of the best Arkanoids, and playing this thing with a mouse is so good. Tin Star is another cheap game, and I swear you want to play this with the mouse. Tin Star for Super Nintendo is like it's $11 right now is what it's averaging for a loose copy. Like, these are really great games. They're so unique to be played with the mouse. They don't work nearly as well with a D-pad, and I just think this mouse thing is awesome. It just impressed the pants off me.
Well, that's awesome.
Agreed.
Speaking of tech-style gifts, what I really want, like genuinely, and I think other people should want it too, and there's a caveat to this because you also need to get a subscription, but it's cheap. It's only $5 a month. I think I would love if somebody would get me the new Apple TV 4K.
Oh, yes, please.
I really want one of those because with my phone plan through Verizon, I already have Apple Arcade. And I was doing some research on it earlier because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't talking out of my ass. But because I have modern systems, I have controllers that work with the new Apple TV OS. So, with my $5 subscription and my DualShock 4, my DualSense controller, my whatever, your Xbox controllers, whatever it is that you might have, you can play a ton of awesome games on your TV, like Horizon Chase Turbo 2 or Shovel Knight Dig, right? Just to name a couple. Cozy Grove is on. There's a ton of really awesome games that are available on Apple Arcade for a cheap subscription that work really well with the Apple TV. And they're like, I think it's the new 4K Apple TVs, the third generation or whatever, with it's like 64 gigabytes of storage is like $120. Pretty awesome deal. Plus, you get an Apple TV out of it as well.
Yeah, that's really all I use it for. But I still want a new one anyway because I'm a sucker. There's absolutely nothing wrong with my current one except it gets a little slow from time to time. So,
but how nice would it be to be like, I want to play Horizon Chase Turbo on my TV? Okay, and I'm just or Horizon Chase Turbo 2. I mean, and you could just do that, or Shovel Knight Dig, right? Do you want to play those on the Switch? Sure. Do you have to play those on the Switch? Absolutely not.
That's fair. All right.
Yeah.
I like that one. Okay. Sticking with technology, I have, let's see. This is super niche. All right. This is super niche. But if you just so happen to be one of the weirdos like me who likes the Philips CDI, there's a CDI Bluetooth adapter.
How dare you?
Come on,
there's put that shit on your list.
Seriously?
There's
I love this
be
freaking thing.
Tens of people.
There's tens of people, but if you know one of them, you get them the CDI Bluetooth adapter. It is wonderful. It's so easy to use. We sell them at Stone Age Gamer. It's another one that I got to do. I actually got us to carry this product because I found out about it online. I was like, we need to contact these people. We need this in our store. And they were like, okay, crazy person, go ahead and reach out. And I did. And we carry the item and they send us one. And like, I swear, you just plug it into the front of the system and sync whatever controller. I synced a Switch Pro. I synced a PS4. It's like PS4 controller playing Hotel Mario. I was like, this is it, man. This is it. It's lovely. It's a CDI Bluetooth adapter. It is so niche, but it freaking works, and it makes playing CDI games doable without having to buy one of those stupid expensive actual controllers for the thing, or using a wired controller, which is what I had been doing for the longest time before. It's a marvelous device. Can't recommend it enough for like the three people besides me that wants it.
I think you have recommended it just enough. Oh, good God. Speaking of fucking, man, I don't even know how to transition from that. Whatever.
Speaking of shit no one wants.
Speaking of shit, no, because I definitely want this. It's kind of a toss-up between the two options that are out on the market. The Razer Kishi is $60. The Backbone one is $100. But these are Snap-on smartphone game controllers.
Oh.
And I really like the way both of them look. The Backbone one comes in a PlayStation colorway, which is kind of dope. Like, I want one of those. But for $40 cheaper, the Razer Kishi iPhone controller specifically, because that's what I have, I really, really genuinely want one of these. What the power that our phones have, right? Like, it is absurd. And with this attachment, you can basically make yourself a portable PlayStation 5, a portable Xbox One. You can play all the games on Apple Arcade. Like, I can get my PlayStation on my phone. If you have Xbox, if you subscribe to Xbox Game Pass, you can get that on your phone. And then you have a controller and you snap it on and it fits. And I don't know what type of phone you're rocking right now, Chris. I'm still on the iPhone 12 generation.
That's what I have.
I have a Pro Max, and it's a big enough phone. The screen is gorgeous. I want the 14 Pro Max. I was promised one for my birthday from my wife, but all the stores just sold out.
Skip it. You don't want this one. Skip this generation.
No, well, I'm due for the. I'm still 2 years. Whatever.
I'm holding out because they're gonna switch to USB-C in like a year or two. Like they've been.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's a whole thing. I'm like, all right, cool. I was thinking about it because the camera, they do the camera and the what's the 13 whatever it does portrait mode for video now, so you can have like the nice blurred background and stuff. I want that super bad for doing my videos, but I'm holding out. I know I'm gonna be up in a couple of months, but I'm waiting for the. I'm not getting this one.
Yeah. Regardless,
yeah.
All of that. The screens are gorgeous enough, even on the 12. The power is more than enough, even on a quote-unquote older generation phone, to where if you have one of these Snap-on controllers, you've got a portable PlayStation 5. You've got a fucking portable Xbox. That's awesome.
Now, are these the kind of things where the phone, where it's like it seems like a standard controller and the phone clips onto the top of it? Or is it like makes it like a Switch dock thing? Okay.
Yeah, it makes it like a Switch kind of.
Okay. We have a controller that there's a controller we carry at Stone Age Gamer that does the thing where the phone can clip on the top. It comes with the clip for it. It's for Android and iOS. It's from Brook Accessories. It's called Vivid. Yeah. The problem is they're ugly as shit. And not the design. The colors are...
Oh, really?
I don't understand. There's only two color choices, and it's this weird baby blue and this like brown and yellow thing. I don't get it. Outside of that, it's a great controller. They're only $40, and they do everything the Pro controller does. It's my fourth controller for the Switch that we use regularly for everything. But it also came with the phone adapter, so because it's compatible with Android and iOS. So that's a pretty cool option. But yeah, getting a controller for your phone.
Ryan should definitely send me one of those, so I can test it.
Vivid, sure. Which eye searing color would you like?
Either one. I don't care. Which one's not selling well?
Yes,
I don't give a shit. The Razer Kishi is it's got all the buttons you need, dual analog. It's got a D-pad. The phone snaps into the middle of the two like a Switch. That's fucking awesome. I want one. Because like I tried to fight that idea for a while, but like, you know, I have played pad for like getting close to damn near 3,000 days now. So like mobile gaming is like a thing. It's here. Yeah. Let's do it for real.
Nice. Speaking of controllers, I'm going to do kind of a blanket recommendation for specifically Retro Fighters controllers. They do a bunch of good controllers.
For sure.
The wireless Brawler 64 is great. For N64, I think that one's a really good wireless controller. I like it better than the original Brawler 64. I had some issues with the buttons on the original one, and the wireless one works a lot better than that. And we just started carrying Retro Frog does a little it's a little 3D printed adapter that kind of braces the dongle that goes in where your controller ports go for those, which is a pretty neat little add-on. I like the Striker DC a lot. It's a new style Dreamcast controller. The analog stick is super loose, but it doesn't really get in the way. Like I haven't noticed it as being a real bad thing when playing games. I really, really do like using that controller. I want to like the new Defender, which is their PlayStation one, and a lot of people love it. The one that I got, I had some real problems with the D-pad. But if you're not doing anything D-pad heavy, and I've also seen many, many, many reviews and reports of not having the same D-pad problems as me. So maybe I just got a bad controller or something like that. I don't know what it is.
Sure.
But everything besides the D-pad worked wonderfully as a wireless solution for PS1 and PS2. And I like that a lot, because one of the reasons I don't know, my DualShock 2s are going. I have like 13 DualShock 2s and maybe 5 of them work. It's ridiculous. I don't know why.
That's
all
wild.
my DualShock 1s work great. All my PS1 controllers work great. For some reason, DualShock 2s are just shit in the bed on me. But I don't play a lot of PlayStation 2, but having a nice wireless option is always good to me. And without having, I know you can get the adapters that let you use your other system's controllers on those, but then you're syncing controllers back and forth, which is something that I find to be just a pain in the ass. I want them to just, this is my this system controller, this is my this system controller. That's how my brain works. And I think Retro Fighters makes some pretty solid controllers, so they get they get a shout out from me, a nice recommendation there.
Yeah, the 8-bit do dongle lets you use other controllers.
Yep. Yeah,
that's how I use my
NES
PS4.
and Super Nintendo,
yeah, I use the DualShock 4 on the Switch. But yeah, like that same kind of thing.
And 8-bit do's controllers are also really good too.
That is very true. Yeah, they have an arcade stick that I didn't put on my list to recommend because that is definitely not for everybody, but yeah, I could have it. I also think that it would be a great idea for someone to gift me or gift a loved one a Logitech Bluetooth headset, because every now and again you just want to put on a big noise canceling "fuck you, don't talk to me" headset, and Logitech makes really good big "fuck you, don't talk to me" headsets. The G345 is kind of like not a budget model of theirs because it's still $50, but it's on the lower end of what Logitech makes, but it's still Logitech. It sounds really good. It looks good. It comes in a couple different color options. There's an all black one. There's like a white and baby blue one that's actually kind of nice looking. And it works with everything that has Bluetooth. Like the fucking record player that I got for my birthday has Bluetooth, so I could like hook it up to that. You know what I mean? It's just, there's a ton of different options. It's great. You should definitely get it.
Nice. Well, I know you're not recommending things that not everybody should get, but I'm recommending things. I mean, I recommended that CDI thing, and another thing that I really like that I came across that I found out through our website is something called the Col USB. This is for the ColecoVision. Now, if you have a ColecoVision, you know that the power supply is approximately the size of the ColecoVision.
It really is. It's massive.
And it's all at the end. So like you have to plug in this gigantic freaking brick. And when I say gigantic, if you've never used one of these things before, this item isn't for you. But just for context, imagine the giant bricks for like a Sega Genesis or an NES. It's at least 3 of those. So
much bigger. Yeah.
It's at least 3 of those that you have to actually plug that part in. It's ridiculous. The Col USB allows you to use a regular USB like phone plug, just USB cable, one end of this ColecoVision, one end of the wall, and it is wonderful. So if you're the kind of person that has your ColecoVision hooked up, this is a great way to free up some space and not have to use that massive freaking brick. I love this thing. Highly recommend.
Somebody should gift me that and a ColecoVision. That's what I would like. Oh man. All right, so the rest of the shit that I have on here is kind of all over the place. But they are things that yeah, whatever. This was definitely on my list last year. And I got a much smaller and cheaper version of it. But the iFixit ProTech toolkit is $75. It's got all the little different like size screwdriver heads, like the star bit and the triangle bit and all the stuff you need for taking apart laptops and computers and PlayStations. I cleaned out my PS5 this morning using my little toolkit that I had here and like disconnected the fan and like really dusted it. It was so fucking grimy in there. So gross. This is what happens when you have a lot of dogs. There's a lot of like dust and dander and shit that gets around, so I have to like periodically clean my PlayStation so it doesn't sound like a jet engine like my PS4 does. And man, like just having these things around are incredible. And going along with that would be the Briggy or Bridgie. I don't know how you fucking say it. They make a good electronics vacuum. So something to like vacuum out your keyboard, vacuum out your system. This one is cool because it's like it's a combination like it's a Mega Maid. It's a suck and blow, which is really kind of awesome. You can compressed air a little bit with it. And it's got a bunch of different attachments with like little brushes and stuff. And I'm starting to explore that world more of like fucking with electronics and disconnecting shit and cleaning stuff out and whatever. I've got a couple Chromebooks from work that I'm trying to fix up and whatnot. So having something like that is really awesome because shit gets really dirty. The world is gross and it all gets into your electronic.
The world is gross.
It really is.
Well, I am going to recommend. I have a bunch of different art that I would recommend.
Right
and
on.
First and foremost, I have to plug my wife, Shoot the Moon Stitches. She does all sorts of cross-stitch patterns for like Christmas decorations or just random fandom stuff like The Good Place and Marvel and Star Wars and stuff. She does a lot of really great stuff. I am super proud of her, and her work is great, and I recommend Shoot the Moon Stitches. They make lovely gifts and great things to just have hanging up in your house. And she takes submissions. So,
yeah, go through your art stuff. I don't have any art stuff.
Okay, continuing art stuff. Square Painter. He's our friend Adam. He's been on the show a handful of times before. He paints pixel art stuff. And he's been doing some other like weird crafty type things like painting skateboards and things like that.
But yeah, the skateboards are super cool.
He just does really wonderful pixel art stuff. I love his work. I've got a bunch of his paintings on my wall right now. If I had more money, I would have way more of them. And dude does all sorts of great stuff. Angie Fernot, artofangela.com. She also does she's a great artist, and she does all kinds of commissions or logo work or any kind of stuff. She's extremely talented. She's done a bunch for Geekade, and she is check out her site. And if you're looking for some sort of original artwork, which is always makes a great gift. Original artwork that you've commissioned for somebody is a great gift to give. It's super awesome, and supporting artists is awesome.
Yeah, she's all right.
In the more commercial sense of things, we have on Stone Age Gamer, we got a bunch of pixel frames. They're those the like 3D art that you can get that's like a screenshot from a game, but it's all like cut out in 3D and stuff. We also have a bunch from Artovision. We don't have as many as we used to, but Artovision and pixel frame stuff is really, really cool. And those are also the great kinds of things to make gifts because they wrap really well and they just look awesome hanging around your house. Like different various screenshots from video games and presented in 3D. They're really, really awesome. And I put these in the art category. I think you have some of these too, but there's a lot of really good Lego video game related stuff out there in the world right now.
Yeah, I have one because it's so expensive.
Which one's that?
The Lego 2600.
Oh yeah, I want that.
It's $240.
I got to visit Len Herman recently, and he has it all built, and it's like, wow, I would love to have this. I have nowhere to put it, but I just want to build it. It's so interesting. It's so freaking cool.
It's so cool. I love that the cartridges that it comes with have little scenes that you build.
Yeah, their own little dioramas. The carts
so
themselves.
Fucking
They're
cool.
Great.
Like
incredibly well
the
thought
Lego
out.
NES is very cool. And I don't know if that's on your list or not. That's very,
I was
going to
mention that too.
The
it's not
Atari
as cool as the
2600 is so fucking cool.
Yeah. Absolutely bonkers.
Legos are great.
Love it.
Legos are awesome.
Yeah, I will also recommend my friend Rich just built this one, which looks crazy. There's the gigantic Lego Bowser set.
Yeah, that's really cool looking.
Oh my god, that thing's nuts. It's a couple thousand pieces or whatever, but it's he sent me a picture of the finished one. It's like the same size as his cat. It's crazy.
And really, honestly, get the Lego stuff now, because like if inflation keeps going the way it does, and oil prices keep going the way they do, and plastics keep going the way they do, I don't know that any of us will ever be able to afford Legos again, like after this year. So get it while you can.
There you go. Well, that's all the art stuff that I have.
Yeah, there's some really, really awesome stuff out there. Let me see. Where do I want to go next? I don't have a ton of stuff left. I do have some personal things that I think are a little bit more niche, but just a couple of things to recognize that we're getting older, Kris. And as we get older, our body's ability to fight different whatever. Like my nose has been a disaster for a decade at this point because of my allergies and whatnot. So I would really like a Homedics personal humidifier. Have you seen these things?
No.
All right, $20 on Amazon. It's just a little humidifier that, when you're getting stuffy or you're feeling a certain type of way, you just put this fucking thing up in your face, and it's just a tiny little humidifier. It's got some different drops and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, look at that.
Clears you right up.
Little thing.
Takes care of you. Definitely get that.
Oh, you can put it in the cup holder in your car. That's cute.
Exactly.
Wild. All right. Well, I would recommend. All right, I said I was going to get to this before, and I'm going to go ahead and get to it now. On the random thing, I think a great gift would be an electric leaf blower. And I specify electric because I just recently read a whole report about how the gas ones are not just really loud and obnoxious, but they are unfathomably terrible for the environment. Like, gas leaf blowers, especially the backpack ones, are just unconscionably polluting. It's really ridiculous how much nastiness those things create. It's unreal. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I have an electric leaf blower.
As do I.
Yeah, that's all you really need. And leaf blowers aren't crazy expensive. They come in very, very handy. As Captain Monterey Jack said about hair dryers, they have multiple settings and they keep food warm. Keep leaf blowers on all the time.
You should. 100%.
No,
I want a backpack one with like a rechargeable battery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, backpack one, fine. Just do the planet a favor and don't get a gas powered leaf blower. You just don't need it. Get something electric. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you live on acres and acres and acres of land, and there's nothing. I can't speak to that, but I can say that everything that I've read points to gas leaf blowers being just unbelievably bad for the environment. So get an electric leaf blower and blow some leaves around because it's fun. And then you can make giant piles and jump in them.
Move away from fossil fuels kind of in general. I think is a
solid plan.
A good tip.
Yeah.
For like the future generations. I mean, fuck them. But like also, not
maybe
so much because, like Earth, it's where I keep all my stuff.
In the yard equipment department, I have one more.
Oh,
and this one I actually got from. I've wanted these. This has been on my Christmas list every year since you told me about it, and it's a motherfucking trencher.
Oh, it's so good.
I want one of these so bad, and I want everyone to have one because when I go out and walk the dog, I can tell who has one and who doesn't.
Oh,
right?
For sure.
It's so obvious, and it's the thing that makes the clean line between grass and sidewalk. It's just, I want it so bad. I've wanted one for so long, and I didn't even know what it was called until Dan introduced me to the glory of the trencher. And it's on my Christmas list. It's really high up on the Christmas list too, because like I am just so sick of getting out there and trying to clean up the edges with my my edge trimmer, and that's for maintenance. But I need the job done right, and you got to do it like at least once a year, right? That's what I'm imagining. You do it once a year, then you do the upkeep with the weed whacker or whatever.
I do it every other mow. Honestly,
and that just
I
sounds
probably
like fun.
Don't need to, but It doesn't take very long, and it's kind of like it's like maintaining a beard, right? If you're a beardsman, such as myself, you have a fucking wooden brush for your beard, and you have the beard balm and the oil and all that stuff, and you don't do it every day because you don't need to do it every day, but you want it to look nice, you want to maintain, and you gotta, just a little bit of upkeep. But it really is worth it. Like, it really does make such a fucking difference. It's like pumpkin pie without whipped cream. Like, you gotta do it. It's a world difference.
Well, I want a trencher, damn it.
All right. What I want, Chris,
you got?
It's the most niche thing on my list. But again, we're older. Most of us are adults and drink coffee. I know you don't.
I do not. I am a child.
But I want either the Ember or the Next Mug temperature-controlled mug. That is what I want. The Ember is really expensive. It's like $150. The Next Mug is $100. But this mug will keep your coffee at whatever temperature you tell it to forever if you put it on the little pad. Like, you will never have a cold cup of coffee because, as we all know, you make your cup of coffee in the morning and you sit down and you go to do your thing, and then you get distracted and you go to take a sip of coffee and it's fucking ice cold. I love iced coffee. I'm bougie as shit. I will drink iced coffee all damn day. But when I have a cup of hot coffee, I want it to be hot. That's why I made it that way. This thing is amazing. It is a fucking smart mug with a built-in thermostat, and I love it and need one.
I'm watching the video for it on Amazon right now. It's boozy as shit is what it is.
Oh my God, it's such a fucking asshole thing to want.
Wow.
Like, I fully believe
that is something.
That if you own one of these, you are an asshole. That doesn't stop me from wanting it. Like, I don't care about that fact. Like, it's a thing that I need in my life. Whatever. It's a ridiculous price. A ridiculous price. Like, the Next Mug $100 version, I'm sure it's not as nice as the Ember, the $150 fucking thing. Whatever, I don't care. It's both prices are stupid.
Coffee mug.
It should be $20 at best. Because, this sounds like the kind of thing that in the 80s would have been sold at the school Christmas store.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
It sounds like the heated ice scraper that you plug into the cigarette lighter in Dad's 78 Oldsmobile. Like, that's what it fucking sounds like. But some nerd somewhere was like, my coffee's cold sometimes. And fucking fix that problem. That's awesome. I want it.
Amazing. Well, I guess the last thing that I will throw on there is that if you have anyone in your life who is interested in video game history, buy them a copy of Atari 50 for your platform of choice.
Yeah,
I've played 5 minutes of it and I'm already so goddamn sold on this game. It's ridiculous. It's the new gold standard on how you do video game history is collections like this. Keep them coming, Digital Eclipse, and get everybody a copy of Atari 50 and make them play it.
Do it, Doug.
Do it. You got anything
else? More thing. Yeah, right. I had a couple more things, but I'll narrow it down. I have two more. The last two. One, get yourself a pair of glider gloves or some sort of equivalent. They're $15 on Amazon. They are touchscreen compatible gloves because you're addicted to your phone and so am I, and it gets cold sometimes. You do. And you don't want to do the fingerless gloves. They look cool.
Yeah. No, you want gloves.
You want the touchscreen compatible gloves. And I know you got a pair last year just like I did, and I also know, just like me, you don't know where the fuck those are. So get yourself a new pair. It's fine. They're cheap. But the last thing, look, we spend all day on our phones, all day staring at screens. It's constant, a constant barrage of fucking light and photons and shit going into our eyeballs and our brains. The best thing you can do is, again, on Amazon, it's $20. Find the equivalent that looks better to you, whatever, it doesn't matter. Get a total blackout sleep mask. This one, the Mzu, is the one that I saw. It is like memory foam, form-fitting to your particular face shape, and it is a total blackout. And I sleep with a sleep mask because I am looking at my phone in bed like a fucking jackass, even though I know I shouldn't. But I put the sleep mask on, and it is dark. It is wonderfully, beautifully, soothingly dark. And because, like, as I imagine most of us have an alarm clock and a thing and a this and a that all plugged in our bedroom, and our chargers all have little fucking stupid lights on them, and it's never actually dark in the bedroom. Like, you can still see just fine. You know, and there's light coming in from the door and outside street lights and whatever. And these things, oh God, it's blissful. It's beautiful. Get a sleep mask. Especially, I don't usually have trouble sleeping. Like, every now and again, knock on wood. I really, like, my head hits the pillow, I put the sleep mask on, and I'm out in like 5 minutes. But if I'm having trouble sleeping, you know, with the sleep mask, it cuts down on that kind of shit dramatically. Because it just shuts your brain off. They're great. They're great.
I have to try one. I have a sleep mask because I love to sleep in perfect darkness.
Yeah.
One of the things I love is the sleep mode in all of my electronics. I wear my watch to sleep on weekdays because that's how I wake up in the morning, as I have the alarm built into my watch. But I have my bedtime programmed into my phone. So, like, the only way my watch is going to show any light at all is if I force it to. Right. You know, I can tap on the screen all I want, and it's not going to light up until I press the button. And, like, it's like, are you sure you want to see something? All right, fine.
You said sleepy time.
And my phone's the same way. Like, it mutes all notifications. It's as soon as bedtime starts until after my alarm goes off, it mutes all notifications except for emergencies, and that's wonderful. But the sleep mask I have, I've never been able to. I've never been comfortable in it. It does the job more or less, but it's like I have a hard time feeling comfortable with something on my face.
I like the memory foam ones because, like, you can definitely feel it, but it conforms to your face in such a way that it feels natural. Like, it's not too heavy. Like, if I'm sick or something like that, I do like sleeping with the weighted sleep mask. You know, I like a good weighted blanket and a weighted sleep mask if I'm feeling sick, because that's just kind of comforting and kind of soothing and takes away some of the focus on the, like, I feel like shit, but oh, snuggly. But like the memory foam style sleep mask, just the way that it conforms to your face and the lightness of it, while still being pitch black dark, is awesome.
No, toss that on my Christmas list. I'll give it a try. That and a bidet.
Dude, you got to get a fucking bidet. How did I not put a bidet on the list? Get a bidet.
I'm genuinely shocked that you didn't.
I mean, I just assumed everybody took my recommendation last time. Get a goddamn bidet. Wash your asshole. Fucking, like, seriously. Dear God, it's better for you. It's better for the environment. Every other fucking country does it. We're the only ones who are like, ew, it's weird. Stop it. It's great. I want a heated one this year. I'm still shooting the fucking cold water, which is great. First thing in the morning. Whoa! All right, I'm up. Hey, that was kind of fun. But man, get a goddamn bidet. Just stop it. Have one. Have one in your house. Start with. Don't get like one for every toilet. That would that's accept. Like, don't. I knew I was gonna love it because, you know, whatever. Fucking into
go outside. I go outside and shove the hose up my ass anyway.
Oh, I do.
I was doing this on my own for fun.
That's what I was doing. But like, just start with one. Just try it. Like, I just normalize clean buttholes. Brought to you by your friends at Geekade.com and the Stone Age Gamer. That's Ryan. Ryan wanted me to say that. Ryan pays me to say normalize clean buttholes.
All right, everybody.
Does he still listen to the show? I feel like he does.
It's not going to get better than that, and I'm exhausted. It's tomorrow. We've done it. We broke day.
Oh, we have. Oh.
That is our show, everybody. Join us next week when it will be 10, 20, 30, 40 time once again. Will we manage to complete the episode in another 3 goddamn hours? Time will tell, but I'm going to say probably not.
All signs are pointing to no.
They just keep getting longer. That's what she said.
I wish that's what she said. She was like, it's a little shorter than it used to be. I'm like, well, putting on weight. Go fuck yourself. But it's hanging
lower, so.
That's right. Everything's hanging lower. You're not a peach either. You're a bruised peach at this point. Fuck.
We are on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we are very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated by hand. The show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Holly. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making this show listenable for all you folks. We'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. That's it, everybody. On behalf of Dan and myself, go the fuck to bed. And in light of that, keep playing games.